You just have to do that in reverse. Now that you're starting with your left, you got those two bean bags. Josh? Who's Josh? Geez and gosh at the same time.
I'm Akiko.
And I'm Jackie, and we are Exhibits Experience Leads here at the Fleet Science Center. And we're outside Studio X, which is our maker space here. And Akiko is bringing us our project.
Today, I am going to show you how to make these bean bags.
And I'm going to show you how to juggle them.
So let's get started. If this is your first sewing project, or if you are using a sewing machine, make sure you have someone who can help you with the sewing safety. Here are the things you need for this project. To make bags, you will need some fabric. You can use an old t-shirt or any other fabric you have around your house. You will also need beans or rice to put inside the bags. To make a template, you will need a sheet of paper, a ruler, a pen, and scissors. To cut the fabric, you will need a pair of sharp scissors. You will also need some pins or clips to hold the fabrics together, and needle and thread for sewing. To measure the amount of beans or rice, you might need things like a scale or a measuring cup. A sewing machine is optional. So first, let's make a template. Here is a measurement of the fabric for our bean bag. You might like to make them slightly larger if you like bigger ones, but let's start with this measurement. We are making more than one bean bag, so making a template will speed up the process. So all you have to do is just to copy the measurement on a piece of paper and cut it out. So next, mark the fabric. Most fabric has a direction, so look for a grain line or the way the thread runs on the fabric and align the template to the direction of the fabric. You can use regular pen or special fabric marking pen to mark the fabric. Here I'm using just a regular ballpoint pen. Now we are ready to cut the fabric. Spread the fabric on a flat surface and cut along the mark. If you're making a lot of bean bags, you can actually layer the fabric and cut a few layers together. Always use sharp scissors when you cut the fabric. Cutting paper and other materials will dull the scissors, so I have a pair of scissors that I use just for fabric. Take the first piece of your fabric and fold it in half and pin the layers so they will stay together while you are sewing. We will turn the bag inside out after stitching, so if the fabric has an obvious right side, like printed side or pretty side, then fold your fabric with the right side together, so the side you like will be on the outside of the finished product. Here I'm using my sewing machine to sew my first bag. I'm using a 3/8 inch or 1 centimeter marking on the plate underneath the needle for the seam allowance, and stitching along half of the top, side, and the bottom edge. Remember the back stitch at the beginning and the end to secure the seam. If you are hand stitching, mark the stitching lines with a pen or a special fabric marker. Here I'm using a regular ballpoint pen. The mark should be 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter inside the edge of the fabric. You can copy the measurement on a piece of paper and use it as a template to mark the seam allowance. To start sewing, take the needle and pull the thread through the eye of the needle. For strength, I'm using double strands for this project. So take both ends of the thread together and make a knot at the end of the thread. Practice a few times to get a nice big knot so it does not go through the fabric. Stitch along the bottom, the side, and half of the top edge with a running stitch. Running stitch is very simple. Begin the stitch by pushing the needle through the fabric. Then push the needle back down through the fabric next to where you just came up. The length of each stitch should be small enough so the things you are going to put inside won't spill out from between the stitches. When you get to the end, loop the thread a few times around the needle and pull the needle while placing your thumb on the loop to make a knot. So it's time to add beans in your bag. So you want each bag to weigh about the same. You can measure it. I'm measuring 40 grams of beans using my scale. But I found out that is about 100 pinto beans. And it's about also a quarter cup of beans. So next, trim the corners to reduce the bulk if you like, and flip the bag inside out. And then to fill the bag, you can roll up a paper to make a funnel. Once you add the beans in your bag, push the edges inside and close the opening, and stitch the opening with another running stitch. And there you have it, you have your own bean bag. Now repeat this process and make a couple more, or you can make a bunch to share with your family and friends. Now you have these bean bags.
You can use them like a hacky sack.
Or you can use them for a bean bag toss.
Or you could even use them as like a beanbag chair for a Barbie.
But now Jackie's going to show you how to use them for juggling.
All right, let's head into Studio X. All right, so now I have my friend Marla here. She's going to be learning how to juggle. The first step in juggling is to just know how to throw 2 beanbags. Typically juggling is going to be 3, but you got to start with the basics. What you want to do is you want to have 2 beanbags in your hand, 1 in each, and you're just going to throw one up in the air, and you're going to throw the other in the air so that both beanbags are in the air at the same time, like this. Like that. Yeah, just like that. Now what you want to do is you want to imagine that your hands are in an imaginary window frame that your hands can't go through. You want your hands to move side to side, not forward, backward. All right? So you're going to go one up, the other one, and just catch it just like that. Good. All right? Now if you throw it a little bit higher, you have a little bit more time to catch, but you also might risk the accuracy of your throwing, okay? Once you have your 2 bean bags and you can do that reliably, you can do it as many times as you want, and you just have that really, really good, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna add your 3rd bean bag, all right? Now you're gonna start with if you're right-handed, you're gonna start with both bean bags in your right hand. If you're left-handed, of course, you're gonna start with your 2 bean bags in your left hand. We're gonna start just the same way as you did with 2. You're gonna throw one up and then the other. As you catch the other beanbag in your right hand, or left if you're a lefty, you're gonna throw that 2nd beanbag, okay? Just before this one lands, you're gonna throw the other one, so it'll look like this. Like that, okay? You'll notice that this one, I had this 2nd beanbag here, ready to go once this one was coming down. Let's watch that again. 1, 2, 3, like that. So right, left, right, okay? All right, now that you've got the right, left, right, like this, you'll notice you're gonna catch those 2 bead bags in your left hand. So that means that you have to start with your left hand on this next round. So now you're gonna go left, right, left, okay? Now, since the rules of juggling say you can't ever have more than one object, beanbag, ball, whatever, in one hand, you have to keep this constantly going. So you're gonna start with your right hand and just trade back and forth, left, right, like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, a few tips. You notice that my hands are making these circular motions. They're almost like wheels, okay? Just like this. All right, so you'll see my hands move like this. They don't go forward or backwards. They're not doing all this weird stuff. They're always making about the same wheel kind of motion. They're both going out, down, and then back up, like this. You'll also notice that as one beanbag is coming down, I'm already throwing the beanbag that's in the other hand as I rise up to catch the other beanbag. So I'm doing this kind of thing. This beanbag's coming down, and I'm throwing the other one as I meet the beanbag in the air. Yeah.
Hope you learned a lot today. Sewing is great for fine motor skills.
Juggling is great for hand-eye coordination.
And if you find a unique use for the beanbags, post it on our social media.
You can find our social media information down here at the bottom of this video. But until then, we'd like to just say, Thank you for watching. So as this beanbag is coming down, back again. And I'm Jackie, and we're experienced leads of the exhibit variety. Try it again. And today Akiko is going to bring a project to us. Try it again. I'm going to do it again.
And action.
Hi.
It's harder than you think it is.
3 times a day and then.
And then if you're left-handed, of course, you're going to start with your two bean bags. Bean bags.
You should mention that I'm a left-handed person.
Yeah.